Is there a motion to open?
Motion open.
Second.
All those in favor, roll call vote. Mike Doyle,
Yes.
Alicia Greco,
Yes.
Jeff Walker, Jerry Heavy.
Yes.
All right, looks like we're missing Jeff. Okay. This is J.R. Colby, Chairman, Newbury Select Board. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Alicia Greco,
Yes.
Michael Doyle,
Yes.
Jerry Heavy. Jerry Heavy
Yes.
and Jeff Walker.
Yes.
Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Tracy Blaze, Town Administrator.
Yes.
Julie O'Brien, Executive Administrator.
Yes.
Martha Taylor, Town Planner.
Yes.
DeVoe, Town Accountant, Assistant Finance Director.
Yes.
John Lucy, Chief of Police. We don't have John yet. We will. Good evening. This open meeting of the Newbury Select Board is being conducted virtually, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, in the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of COVID-19, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings held in a publicly accessible physical location. The order, which you can find posted on the town's website, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Newbury Select Board is convening by Zoom meeting link as posted on the agenda on the town's website. All of the materials for this meeting, except any executive session materials, are available on the website, and we recommend the members and the public follow the agenda as posted on the website. We're now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, I will go down the line of board members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and be sure to state your name before speaking. Members wish to engage in dialogue with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. The chairperson or vice chairperson will afford the public comment for a period of 3 minutes and will be granted as follows. Participation will be sought through the raise hand function. For video conference participants, this function can be accessed by clicking on the participants option listed in the menu below the photo gallery in this area if you don't see it. A participant's window will open and display on the right. On the bottom of this participant area, you will see the list of video participants. And on the bottom, you will see the ability to click on a button to raise hand. Your name is displayed. You may rename by using the more function next to your name. Telephone participants can use their phone's keypad while in a Zoom meeting to raise hand by hitting *9. Those who have requested to be heard through the raise hand function will be heard in the order of which they are listed. The system lists the order by whom first hits the raise hand function. Please identify yourself by stating your name and address and question or comment. You'll be unmuted and your hand will be lowered when you've been given the floor for your questions. We will continue down the list of those in the raise hand column. Each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Now that we have that over with. Oral communications from citizens. Do we have any hands up tonight?
I do. I do. Hi.
Let's see who we have first here.
So Selectwoman Heavy has her hand up.
Yes.
Okay,
I
Jerry.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to report because on October 31st, I hosted the coffee that we have for concerned citizens. And I just wanted to report back to the board an issue that was shared. One of the issues was the fact that people are having a hard time communicating with us and getting on the Zoom meeting. And it was requested, if possible, could perhaps the town on our website list instructions on how to use Zoom, how to get on the Zoom meeting, because one particular person, it took her over a half hour, excuse me, to join the meeting. I thought that was a great idea. Perhaps the next time we issue a tax bill, because that goes out to all the taxpayers, maybe a little flyer could be included about how you go about accessing the Zoom link and what you need to do. So, and then there were some other issues which you know, I dealt with other areas, but I just wanted to convey that to the town, because I thought it was a very good idea to do something to help people get involved, because I know a lot of people try to join the Zoom meetings, but they're having technical difficulty. In fact, Chairman Colby, when you were speaking to us, your voice kept on going in and out, and we were losing every few words you were saying. Just, I don't know if it's your microphone or the Zoom ability, but just calling it to your attention.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So oral communications from citizens. Jim, I saw you had your, Jim Moran, I saw you had your hand up. Hang on, we need to unmute you.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes,
Jay, I had sent in a email to you a month ago about, it had 16 items on it that I wanted to put on the agenda. Is there some reason we can't get that done?
16 items.
Yes.
Well, normally on the Board of Selectmen request things to be put on the agenda. So I would suggest following up with the board on your particular items, and they can request for them to be put on our agenda.
I did that 4 weeks ago.
Did anybody offer to put your concerns on the agenda?
No. It was sent to you and copied to all the rest of the people on the board and other people in town at the town offices.
Okay,
It was
Well-
dated October 8th. If you get a chance, I'd like you to look at that and see if we can in the next meeting do that.
I've seen it. If anyone on the board wants to bring anything to me to include on the next agenda, they're always welcome to.
Okay, a few questions then. An explanation as to why we're not having a special town meeting this year?
Because there's no pressing business, and it is an expense. During the pandemic, there's also a risk of exposure. The general consensus, if anyone disagrees, is that there's no pressing need to have one this fall.
Okay, I understand from Tracy that the lease at Kent Way expires next year, so I believe in July. What is the current cost for the annual cost for that lease we're in right now?
Tracy?
Mr. Chairman, our current lease agreement is annual $167,059.14. That's the base amount.
Okay, thank you. Marshall Jesperson, I believe either in September or October had put on a presentation. And I was wondering if
2
that,
minutes and 30 seconds. Go ahead, Jim.
if that presentation could be put on the website. I thought that was going to happen. I looked recently and it wasn't there. Is that something that could happen?
Thoughts from the board?
Yeah,
Hello?
I don't see why not.
Okay, if you could, that would be great. I attended a Saturday morning coffee with Jeff about a month ago when I went over a bunch of these items I'm still going over today.
3 minutes.
Are you going to extend me or am I cut off?
One more item, and then we got to get moving.
It's complete what he's got, what he had
Yeah.
finished.
Okay. My comment to Jeff was if the town could pave the parking lot at Meander Field.
Okay, for that, something for everyone to consider for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Yeah, well, is that something that maybe could be brought to the recreation committee because they oversee Mantorfield? I know there's plans to put a basketball court there. So. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Do we have any other raised hands tonight?
I don't see any, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, moving on. I signed the PR 21-09 for Julie O'Brien. I signed a VW 21-10 for state supplies from Staples. We have no grants, gifts, or donations tonight. There was supposed to be a golf center, Newbury Golf Center public hearing tonight at 7:15. I believe that is that going to get continued?
Yes, that's going to be continued to January 12th.
Right, but the
Okay.
announcements will be, right, excuse me, the announcements will be made at 7:15
Okay.
when the hearing's supposed to open.
All right. Under new business, we have a appointment to the Newbury Police Department for Reserve Patrolman, Peter Forgione. If you're ready, John, would you like to speak?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Yes, we are very, very fortunate to have an applicant with a lot of experience in Mr. Forgione. He is a certified full-time police officer and currently is working at the UMass Lowell facility, and he's looking to expand his experience. He wants to get into local law enforcement in a small community, and he approached us with his interests. He has a lot of experience, and he's ready to hit the ground running, which is very good for us. And we'll be welcoming him on board with your appointment.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion so we can get to discussion.
I move to appoint Patrolman Peter Forgione.
Second.
Discussion. Jerry.
Yeah, again, we haven't seen a resume, and, you know, when the Chief Lucy, was being appointed, that was one of the things that I stressed. And I'm really not doing my due diligence if we are appointing police officers and we don't have any, resumes of them. It's nice that the chief vouches for him, but I really do believe that the Board of Selectmen, since the statute that established the Selectmen Administrative Form of Government for the town of Newbury back in 2008, under Section 3, the Board of Selectmen shall appoint the Chief of Police and all other police officers. I don't want to be a rubber stamp for anyone, for this administration or for Chief Lucy. I don't know this gentleman, which is one reason a resume would be very appreciated. So with no resume, you get a no vote from me. I got to do my due diligence. That's why the people voted for me. So without information and background, it's a no. It's not personal to the gentleman. As I said, I don't know him, and I'd like to, but it's a no.
Any other
Is there-
questions, or comments from the board? Mike Doyle?
Is there any rush on this? Could we get a resume and then vote on it at the next meeting? Is there a rush?
Under Strong Chiefs Act 97A, that section, this is an appropriate, my endorsement should be enough. I've done extensive background. I can actually, I mean, this right here is literally his background. He has got more credentials and more certifications, then under 90, I'm standing here under 97A. This is what I'm moving forward with as a strong chief to move for an appointment for this officer.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
I do. I have another. Chief,
Jerry?
if you have this file of his background, why don't you share it with us? I mean, unless we want to, change the statute and have you do the appointment, well, then we should change the form of government we have. But until that time, the selectmen are the appointing authority, and I'm not going to give that authority up. I'm sorry.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the board?
So I have a question.
Other-
Jeff, you want to go first? Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, my only thought is, I'm sure that if we get a resume, it's going to include the rudimentary things that a resume includes. I think one of the reasons that there is a strong chief profile in place is because obviously for policemen, there's a big, long file that we're not gonna, be able to see that they have to go through to make an appointment. So I think, probably that's what we've left it up to the chief that we appointed to do a good job in appointing some of the people that we've appointed secondarily. But, I don't, if people want to do it differently and take the time, I'm okay with appointing someone. That's all I have to say.
Due diligence is not assuming anything.
Alicia?
So we've appointed in the past on the recommendations of both the fire chief and the police chief. We are the appointing authority, but we can't be doing all the background checks and all that other stuff. We have to rely on the management that we have in place. That being said, perhaps moving forward, if the chief would, when we have appointments like this, if he could just put a summary together of, a written thing in our packet. And then I also want to request that if board members see items like this on their agenda in their packet, if they have any questions and would like more information, to reach out to the town administrator. If it's a fire chief appointment, to the fire chief. If it's a police chief appointment, to the police chief, so that we can get these, you can have the information that you need to make you comfortable to vote at that time. That's all I have to say about this. But I do have another question for you, John. How many staff do you have, and how many appointments do you think you might need over the course of the year or the upcoming year? Depends on how do you do you rotate?
Well, as far as reserve staff or full-time staff, I mean, this is a reserve officer position that I'm looking at.
Mhm.
I don't know if
How many reserve officers does the force have?
right now with this appointment here. Hold on 1 second. I'll give you the exact. Give me 1 second. This would make 10.
Yeah. And maybe can you explain what the difference in the role of a full-time officer and a reserve officer is?
Well, the role is the same. We utilize our reserves the same way as we utilize full-time as far as their duties and responsibilities. There's no distinction as far as what they're expected to do. What a reserve does is he or she fills in vacancies in the scheduling, whether they're vacancies from vacation, vacancies from sick times, other responsibilities, other trainings that just place our full-time personnel. They're the backfill of all the vacancies that come up with a department our size.
Okay, so it's a part-time position.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And then one more thing before we leave this, Chairman, if the town administrator, could I ask that you forward that Strong Chiefs section 97A to the board so they understand moving forward, this doesn't happen again? That would be extremely helpful.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Thank
If I
you.
may respond to Ms. Greco.
Jerry, yeah.
Yes. Prior to Chief Lucy's being appointed, I asked Chairman Colby for the resumes and the information, and I never received it. So, Alicia, it's nice of you to say I can get this information, but in the past, when I've asked, it has been denied to me. So, that's why it would be nice if it were included and given to all of us.
Yeah, I don't recall that specific request, and that's a whole different matter altogether, but Alicia is, Jerry, Alicia is correct. When the agenda comes out Thursday, we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday to source any information we need, basically to do our homework. That's the way I go about it. I know that's the way the vice chair goes about it. And it's a great way to go about.
And 3 weeks before Chief
That way
Lucy
things
was
just don't
appointed,
continually get tabled.
excuse me, I'm speaking. 3 weeks before the appointment, I asked you for the procedure and his resume and the backgrounds and who had applied and what the procedure was. And you said it's on the agenda for the 25th of August. And that was your answer. And if you don't remember, I can send you the email tomorrow if you're saying I never sent you that email, because I did.
Okay, that's good. All right.
What-
Any other questions or comments on the appointment at hand?
One thing, unless I'm doing the wrong thing, when I have a real pressing issue like this that's bothering me, I will contact Tracy for information also, because she is our town administrator.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. We have a motion on the floor. I'm going to move to a roll call vote. Jeff Walker,
Yes.
Michael Doyle,
No,
Alicia Greco,
Yes.
Jerry Heavy,
No,
J.R. Colby, yes. Moving on, Tracy, you ready for administrators report?
audio is terrible right now. I'm getting every other word.
Is that just for JR, Mike, or is that me too? Or is that Jerry, or who is it for
It's-
everybody?
It's basically JR's mic right now.
Yeah, there isn't much I can do about it right at the moment. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
It's like it reverberates.
We don't have a long agenda. Let's see if we can get through.
All right.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Just wanted to let the board members know that there will be a World War II memorial dedication tomorrow, Veterans Day, at 11 a.m. at Main Street behind the post office. If you're available, we were just notified a couple of hours ago, so wanted everybody to be aware of that. We did our recent tax taking advertising, where there were 9 accounts that had to be advertised for delinquencies. And a review shows that our delinquencies have not increased compared to what we saw this time last year. So that's good news. I was a little concerned that we may see those numbers going up, that they are not. The tax collector's office is doing an excellent job on following procedures, the Mass General Law, doing it timely, and working with residents to set up payment plans if that's in certain circumstances. The Byfield Community Arts Center building, the DPW director reports that one of the long ceiling joist spans has snapped and the horsehair plaster is coming down from the ceiling. The current joist spans from wall to wall and it is holding the ceiling up. The building inspector, Peter Burnett, was dispatched immediately when we were made aware of the situation and has posted the building as unsafe and no one is to enter until further notice.
I'm sorry, excuse me, Tracy, you blipped when you said which building is this?
The Byfield Community Arts Center building.
Okay, sorry.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. So the DPW anticipates being able to perform most of the work, but they may need some assistance of some outside contractors as well. So the director is currently gathering estimates for the cost of propping the broken part and adding a new joist. Julie O'Brien has made the notifications to Heidi Fram and the Byfield Community Arts Center, so they're aware of this. Speaking of roofs, the Newbury Elementary School roof, the work began on November 4th and is now complete. The Gibson roofing removed all the wet insulation. All the roof sections were cleaned and pressure washed. The base coat, which it's called Unibond. I'm not familiar with this product, but the base coat was applied to all the seams and flashings on all the roof surfaces. And then a final top coat of Liquitech was the final step in the process. I do have some pictures that I'll provide to the IT director to post on our website. It really looks great. Gibson Roofing, by all reports, was excellent to work with. They arrived when they said they would and completed a really great job in a timely manner. The Upper Green update, the DPW has completed pruning of the trees on the Upper Green. In addition to what was previously reported, the fertilization, gypsum application, and the repair of the flagpole. So they'll continue working down the list of the items that were identified by the committee. DPW is still seeking plowing contractors, someone with a loader, and looking for 2 one-ton plow trucks. So anyone interested is encouraged to contact DPW Director James Surratt. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Under old business, we have a table discussion from October 13th about PEG access, a follow-up.
Well, if I may,
Jerry.
yeah. Do you have an update?
No, this was a table discussion.
Okay. Well, if there's no update, I would move that the town hires attorney Bill Solomon. He is an expert on cable law. In fact, Ms. Blaze, you hired him when you were in West Newbury to negotiate the cable contract. I would ask that the town hire him in order to assist us in being able to come to a solution or a resolution on how we fund the Triton School, which the $95,000 that the town meeting passed in June. Perhaps he could advise us how the town can do a 501c3, which most towns use in order to fund their school for the money from PEG. And I know that the PEG money, I know last time we discussed this, there was some comment by the chairman that he didn't want to hire any attorneys. However, the fact that this PEG account is, by my estimate, about $750,000, I'd say we have plenty of money to afford the services of an expert in cable TV and PEG money, since I've been asking for a legal opinion. That is in fact a legal opinion, not a Department of Revenue email, which on the bottom of the email says this is not a legal opinion. So I move that. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion? Alicia?
As a municipality, I don't think a town can form a 501c3. That has to be almost a grassroots effort from community members.
He can
And
certainly give advice on how we can go about it. And certainly,
Yeah.
there's enough interested people in town who want to support Triton School and the students that they would, I'm sure, gladly, I know a number of people who would gladly and readily go on the board of a 501c3.
Oh,
One-
that's,
One thing I just want to add for conversation's sake and for informational purposes for the public. A simple action at town meeting can put the PEG money into free cash, and without lawyers, it could be appropriated to about anything we want. It seems like a very simple solution. And also, the PEG money can be used for any other purpose to save the taxpayers money if
No.
town meeting moves to put it into free
No.
cash.
I beg to differ,
Right.
Chairman Colby. I beg to differ. It's federal law that this money can only be used for PEG, for public access, education, and government. And we
Tracy,
fund
would
this-
you like to clarify?
Oh, okay.
If, just to go back a little bit of history, the former media committee back around 2011, 2012, I'm not exactly sure, had suggested that we consider adopting the language, which we did at town meeting, to maintain our PEG money separate from our town funds, because at that time, it was led by a gentleman named Richard Hendrickson. It was very important to them that they establish a studio. Again, this was back 2011, 12, sometime in that area. So we did go to town meeting and we established the separate fund. And what that did by putting it in that separate fund is it held it aside for future purposes. The PEG money has very specific items that it can be spent for. Spending it for education for children is not one of them. We've been through that. You've seen the legal rulings. I'm not going to go through all that again. In the event that you no longer wish, the board no longer wishes to go that route, you would need another vote of town meeting to reverse what you did, and those funds would be deposited by law, according to the law, as a general fund revenue. So it would go into the general fund and it would be used to reduce the operating budget. So it does reduce taxes. That money goes in to fund our general operating budget and reduces the amount that you raise on the tax rate. So it absolutely, completely, 100%, I've reviewed this over and over and over again, can be deposited. As a matter of fact, it is required to be deposited as a general fund revenue if you don't establish what we did, the special revenue account as we did. So those are the only two options. I'm not aware of any others.
Ms. Blaze, do you have this in a lawyer's letter?
I have that from an IGR that I've already submitted to all of the members of the board. I believe you have it in my last submittal, the last time we discussed this.
Is that the
yes.
one that says this email response is intended to provide general information
It's
about?
called an informational guideline release, and it references the general laws in there. I'm happy to resubmit it to you if you'd like to review it again.
I know I have it, but I
Okay.
think this conversation shows how we do need a legal opinion. Because quite frankly, Ms. Blaze, there's a federal and a state statute that says that this money can only be used for not educating children. These students at Trident during a pandemic are making videos and they are making community access programming. And that's what the money is for. And this conversation we've had before, this is the third night we've had it. I've asked 3 different times to have an attorney help us, because all the other towns and cities, when they have regional schools, they fund their students and we can't. So I don't know why we can't do it. And suddenly this year, this $95,000 that the town meeting approved is suddenly wrong when we've been, over the last few years, been taking money from this account to give to the school, smaller amounts.
I-
So maybe we need an independent audit to make sure we're spending it appropriately. Or maybe we should just bite the bullet, use some of the $750,000 that's in that little account and hire an attorney who's a specialist, who knows how to deal with schools and peg money. I mean, obviously, we need some assistance because we just can't get this money into the hands of our students at
It might
Patrolmen.
it might not be that we need the assistance. It might be that you're finding great support for the idea.
Oh, I think the support.
Breaking up. I couldn't understand you, Mr. Colby. Repeat, please.
I don't think you're finding resistance. You might be finding a lack of support for the idea.
I disagree with that totally. Town meeting voted for it. I mean, there's
Yeah.
town support. They voted 2 years in a row.
4-1. 4-1.
Tracy?
It's not that we can't hand it to Triton. It's that we have to be very specific in what we can pay for. If you remember the year before, we appropriated some funding, and that was for a TriCaster to allow the district to stream their meetings live, to provide programming. It's not for educational curriculum.
And it isn't.
so we
That's
have
not
to-
what the money's for. It's not. It's for telecommunications. It's
I agree with that.
well, then what's the problem? Why can't we assist the students and have them fund Channel 8, which they produce on their own?
Because the way right now that our accounts are set up, we can't legally do it.
It's not even so much the way the accounts are set up, it's the fact that the way the funding mechanism works between a municipality, does a town, Newbury, Raleigh, or Salisbury, and the Triton Regional School District, that funding mechanism is the problem.
Then let's hire an attorney who knows
Right.
what they're talking about, like Attorney Bill Solomon. He's an expert on cable law. He's been used by Ms. Blaze in the past. She knows he's an expert. We have all of this money. Let's get the problem solved.
Motion's
know
on the
what?
table.
You know what might still be a little helpful to this issue is if the current town council that we had that gave an opinion on this,
She never did.
She can't.
She can't. She's not an expert.
Are you talking about Peter Epstein?
no, I'm talking about Lisa Mead.
Is
Lisa.
Peter the person that we hired earlier in this
Yes.
process?
He negotiated the cable contract, yeah.
I think you're losing
should've
sight though,
done
as it relates to municipal finance law, the Department of Revenue is our governing authority. They are our, they set our tax rate, they tell us what we can and cannot spend money on. You may not like their opinion, but there is nobody here that would go against their recommendation as far as our professional credentialing allows. So, I think you have to determine what you want to do with the money. If your goal is to provide $95,000 of funding to Triton Regional School District to do whatever they want with it,
That's not.
then my
Town meeting was.
then my recommendation to you would be that you make it a general fund revenue and appropriate from free cash and provide the money. If your goal is to supplement PEG programming, then the proposal that the district provides has to meet the criteria as established within the framework for the PEG funds to be considered allowable. So,
We need an attorney because you're representing what was voted on at the town meeting.
I am not misrepresenting anything.
That.
No,
That's out of
she's
line.
not, and
Channel
needs,
8.
That's not true.
Channel
It's
8.
out of
it's,
line.
it's,
Motion.
no,
I'd move the motion to hire attorney Bill Solomon, who was also the attorney for the town of Stoneham. So there's a motion on the floor.
It's been seconded.
It's
So-
been seconded. Let's-
okay, so if what is your end goal? If this attorney is hired, what is the expected outcome?
The expected outcome is to find a mechanism to fund the school and their programming on Channel 8, which is what the
But
town.
we have that. We know that answer. We can do that.
No, we don't. We don't. Why can't every other town fund their schools? Why can't we do it? Because I'll tell you why. We don't want to do it. We want to put that money in the general fund.
So,
Right.
So-
Every taxpayer in this town should be aware. The town meeting can put $750,000 in the general fund,
No, you can't.
$30,000 a quarter,
No, you can't. We
and
need.
the taxpayers can use the money for whatever they wish to use it.
But the
Then you'll-
people,
And you'll be in Danbury
lawyers
prison
necessary.
because that's not what this money is to be
Jerry?
used for.
Jerry, you might not like what I'm saying, but you need to give me a chance to speak.
can I speak, sir?
Yes, sir, Mike.
The money is not, it comes from cable accounts. So people that don't have cable, okay, aren't putting money in that. So I would feel my money was being spent on a general account where, and they're getting advantage of it, where that's what the money was for. The money is for public broadcasting, educational broadcasting, and government broadcasting.
Right.
Triton was gonna use the money we had for them to make a studio. They were doing a professional studio, which the town could have maybe used down the road too. But it's like, I don't understand why the fight. Let's get a lawyer and let's a lawyer look over the thing because we all don't agree.
It seems, I feel that town funds are town funds. It seems strange to me to tell a taxpayer that they have no say over the PEG money because they don't pay a.
They don't give money to it. They don't give money to it, JR.
Town funds belong to every taxpayer, period.
They don't. These are
They
not
don't.
taxpayers'
These are
dollars.
not funds.
Your 5% that every month, the people who have cable TV, 5% is being assessed to them. Every month they pay into this account. And that's why it can only be used for PEG, not for a general revenue. And the state and federal statute says you cannot use it for anything other than PEG. That's why we need an attorney. And he is an expert. I mean, I don't know what the problem is.
I disagree. It's a waste of money. That's
Don't we
what-
want to help the students? Don't we want to fund them? Aren't they
If-
doing a great job on Channel 8? Why do we want to punish them?
The three towns help the students to the tune of $42 million a year. Everybody out there, listen to me. Take the money, use it to save yourself. It's not intended for educational funding. It isn't.
It's
If
not.
we-
you-
It's not its sole intent. That's what it's being sold as.
If we had specifically said what that money was going to be used for in specific terms, like TriCaster, could that have been accomplished that way, Tracy, instead of being kind of in universal terms?
The Department of Revenue Legal Department reviewed the proposal that was presented by Triton and provided an opinion. I would urge you all to take a very detailed review of the IGR that I provided you. It has all the information in it. You have all the information. I just, I don't know what else to add.
We have a motion on the floor. I'm going to move to a roll call vote. Jerry Heavy,
Yes.
Michael Doyle,
Yes,
Alicia Greco,
No.
Jeff Walker,
No,
J.R. Colby, no.
Can I say something else, Chairman
Yes,
Colby?
Alicia. Yes, Alicia.
I think that there is another way to accomplish, as the town administrator is saying, accomplish the goals of what town meeting tried to do. I just don't think we should go about it the way Selectman Hebe wants it done.
Getting a legal advice on an issue?
I think we need to do a little more research on how other regional school districts do this. And your husband, quite frankly, reached out to me and he was supposed to set up a meeting with someone and I haven't heard anything.
And he, d- and
So
he did.
if,
He did.
if we could just follow up with that
He
and
did.
then
He
see
did
where
send
that
you the
goes.
He did give you the information, Alicia.
Yeah, it was supposed to set up a meeting and it never happened. So I just want that. I mean, there's no stronger supporter of the Triton Regional School District than me.
Just voted no.
And if I can find a way to get this done, I'm going to find a way to get it done. But there's also no way that I'm going to ask my town staff to go against, do something that they know is inherently wrong.
Then
And they've been
hire an
advised that way.
attorney. And hire an attorney to advise us how to go about it if you have a problem.
We
Hire-
have an attorney. We can work through it that way. Okay, next item on the agenda, Chairman.
Thank you. We have some correspondence. We received a letter from the Commonwealth of Mass Division Marine Fisheries, clam flat closures. We received a letter from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission. Reduce hours of operation.
Excuse me, Chairman Colby, can we read that a little bit? Because that's kind of an important letter that we got, because we're the licensing authority for the town.
Just let
And
me
I
get
think-
to the page
yeah.
here.
I'm trying to find it too.
Okay.
Communication's getting worse. Delicious. Everything is like every other word I'm getting. I don't know what's going on.
So on November 2nd, 2020, Governor Charlie Baker issued COVID-19 order number 53, which imposes restrictions on operating hours for the sale and service of alcohol by licensees licensed pursuant to MGL Section 138, and eases requirements of submitting proof of liquor liability insurance and workers' compensation insurance for certain Section 12 licensee annual renewals. The text of the order can be found on the state's website. This order will remain in effect until rescinded or until the state of emergency is ended, whichever occurs first. This is the mandatory closing period for sale of alcohol. Effective Friday, November 6, 2020 at 12:01 a.m. All retail alcohol licensees must close their premises to the public by 9:30 p.m. and may reopen at their normal opening time previously approved by the local licensing authorities. This order applies to restaurants, inn holders, continuing care retirement communities, clubs, taverns, in general on premises, caterers, airline ships and trains, special one-day events, package stores, manufacturers, pouring permits, sections 19B, 19C, and 19E, both on premises and off premises consumption sales. Section 19D, pub breweries, both on premises and off premises consumption sales. Section 19H, farmer series pouring permits, and 22, transportation and express transportation permits. Do you want to speak to it anymore, Alicia?
Well, I just want to say that during the mandatory closing period, retail alcohol licensees must be closed to customers, patrons, and members of the public and may not permit customers, patrons, or members of the public on their premises or otherwise offer or provide in-purpose services. During the mandatory closing period, retail alcohol licenses may keep their premises open to employees and other workers, conduct business activities that do not involve admitting customers, patrons, or members of the public, and offer food and non-alcoholic beverages for takeout and by delivery. Please be aware that this order does not permit sales or services of alcohol outside the hours permitted by the local licensing authorities and by law. And that's kind of an important thing that I thought we should be letting the public be aware of.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. We also received a letter in opposition to Central Street gas station from Carol and Steve Bombard. And received a letter in support of the Newbury Golf Center. Not understanding the problems there with lights on. Pam Birch of West Newbury, Sherry Pearl of Merrimack, Alice McGonigal, Newbury, Cindy Palladino, Susan Mazik, Shauna Passana, Ree Coleman, and Liz McCauley of Newburyport. Any meeting updates? Okay, seeing none. Tonight, there are golf center draft meeting minutes to approve from 7/27/20. I'm recused from that matter, so I'll recuse from this. Clerk would have to sign those.
I move that we approve the draft minutes for the 7/27/20 Golf Center.
I'll second.
Jeff, you're on mute. Roll call vote. Alicia Greco, yes. Mike Doyle,
Yes.
Jerry Heavy, and Jeffrey Walker.
Yes.
Thank you, Alicia.
You're welcome.
We have select board draft meeting minutes from October 13th, 2020, tabled from October 27th, 2020. Is there a motion?
I move to accept the minutes tabled from 10/27. Take them separately, yes or no?
Is there a second?
Chairman?
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Alicia Greco?
Could we have discussion first?
Sure.
So these minutes were tabled. Jerry, did you want to speak to the tabled minutes?
Yeah, I mean, they were tabled until after our training session with the city solicitor. And basically, on discussion, what I heard was that actually the minutes are containing too much in the way of a transcript, and we should just be saying there was discussion instead of getting into what the discussion was, and then what the motion was and the vote of the motion. So that's what I came away from the meeting. So that will make Ms. O'Brien's job a lot easier, not having to write the dialogue.
Yes, I also reviewed the video. I did watch the video, so I
Oh, good.
read the comments. Yes,
Oh, good. So my hope is that it'll make your job a lot easier.
thank you.
Okay, so that's it for me for discussion.
Okay, any other discussion? I'll move to a roll call vote. Alicia Greco?
Yes,
Michael Doyle?
Yes.
Jerry Heavy?
Yes?
Jeff Walker?
Yes.
And J.R. Colby? Yes. We also have select board draft meeting minutes from 10/27. I'd
I
entertain a
move to accept the draft minutes 10/27.
Is there a second?
Second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Alicia Greco?
Yes,
Michael Doyle?
Yes.
Jerry Heavy?
Yes?
And Jeff Walker?
Yes.
And I would also entertain a motion to allow the chair to sign warrants tonight.
I move to allow the chair to sign warrants. On behalf
I'll
of the
second.
board.
Roll call vote. Alicia Greco?
Yes,
Michael Doyle?
Yes.
Jerry Heavy?
Yes?
Jeff Walker?
Yes.
And J.R. Colby? Yes. We have no executive session tonight. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion
I
to
move-
adjourn.
Wait a
second.
What about, it's not 7:15? How
No.
how it's going to be
We
handled?
have to come back at 7:15.
Oh.
So we can take a break.
Is it the same Zoom?
No,
Is it-
I don't believe so.
So can somebody?
No.
tell me
Is
the
it Martha? Is it Martha can answer that?
Yes.
It is the same Zoom.
It is the same Zoom, so quite honestly, procedurally, I don't know if you guys need to keep your meeting open until the hearing is continued, or I would assume probably so, take a break.
Okay.
All right, so we haven't voted, so let's just go into a recess and reconvene back here at 7:15.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna keep this open, so if you want to turn off your video and mute yourselves or whatever.
Thank you, Martha.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks.
So it's 7:15.
Alicia, would you like to start?
Sure.
Public hearing continuance, Newbury Golf Center, November 10th, 2020, pursuant to section 17B V of Chapter 53 of the Acts of 2020. I, Chair of the Newbury Planning Board, have declared that the public hearing continued from October 14, 2020 for modification to a previously approved site plan Newbury Golf Center, 131, 133, 151 Scotland Road, map R43, lots 2, 11, and 4B. Applicant Eric Sorensen, President of Newbury Golf Center, Inc., will not be heard on November 10th, 2020, and instead shall be continued to January 12th, 2021, 7:15 at the Newbury Municipal Offices, 12 Kent Way, Byfield, Mass. Second floor hearing room, and that all deadlines associated with this matter are thereby extended accordingly. Issued by Peter Pecos, Chair, Newbury Planning Board.
So pursuant to section 17BV of chapter 53 of the Acts of 2020, the chair of the select board for the town of Newbury has declared that the public hearing continued from October 14, 2020 for modification to a previously approved site plan, Newbury Golf Center, 131, 133, and 151 Scotland Road, map R43, lots 211 and 4B. Applicant Eric Sorensen, President, Newbury Golf Center, Inc., will not be heard on November 10th, 2020, and instead it shall be continued to January 12th, 2021, 7:15 p.m. at the Newbury Municipal Offices, 12 Kent Way, Byfield, Mass. Second floor, hearing room, and that all deadlines associated with this matter are thereby extended accordingly.
Hello?
Will entertain a motion to adjourn the select board meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Jerry had her hand up. I would like to see her responded to before we adjourn.
Is it possible, since we have Martha Taylor, to schedule this anytime sooner? This is almost 2 months from now. I mean, I think, you know, this is a big delay for somebody who's in business for themselves. Is there any way we can get it sooner?
So a couple things on that. One, first of all, yes, it would be possible to do that. The hearings would have to be, the special permit and site plan review hearings would have to be renoticed. And we would have to, the earliest could probably be about 3 weeks or so for the process. The intention is not to stop this. There will be work to try to keep him going, but there was nothing for him to present tonight. There's been no movement on the lighting. So
What
anyway.
about the option, the letter that we could try it for 30 days? Is that totally out of the question? I mean, the days are gonna start ending at 4 o'clock. And I think we're taking
Excuse me, Mike. This hearing's not open, so we can't discuss this.
Okay, Mike, can we open the hearing to discuss it then?
No, the
No.
hearing's been moved. The people have been notified. It's
All right.
over. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, how about scheduling?
We have it scheduled. It's scheduled for January 12th.
Way too far away.
Well, yeah.
As Martha indicated, there is the opportunity to change that date, and discussions will take place. We needed to pick a date. We picked a date. That's how that happened. Things are always flexible and fluid, so please understand that. That's all I can say. I mean, the hearing's not open, guys. Thanks.
Right, but just to understand, the hearings will have to be renoticed if we do a date sooner than it was continued to. So there can be discussion about choosing that date and renoticing.
Martha and Peter, I actually agree with Mike and Jerry on this one. It would be, if we can do some on-site work or whatever it would take to maybe hasten and work with Eric to have him fulfill what he needs to fulfill to maybe have a quicker, we'll make ourselves available anyway. You know,
That's my hope. My
yeah,
hope is that this project moves forward.
Yeah.
Okay, so
The planning board will make itself available too, Jeffrey. Thank you.
And I knew you would. So we're, everyone's on the same plane, Mike and Jerry, so
All right.
have to try to get it going.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it very much.
can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion made to adjourn.
And a second,
Roll call vote. Jeff Walker,
Yes.
Mike Doyle,
Yes.
Jerry Heavy, Alicia Greco, yes. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good
All
night.
right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Martha. Bye, Peter.